Hello and welcome. Now most of you already have an idea that Triumph is expanding its 660 platform to at least 3 motorcycles. After the successful launch of the Trident 660, the next in line is the Triumph Tiger Sport 660. Now the Brit brand has given us the complete lowdown on this particular motorcycle. The only thing missing is the motorcycle itself, which we hope to ride very soon. But do stay tuned, watch the video till the end to find out everything that you want to know about the upcoming Triumph Tiger Sport 660. And before you do that, do not forget to subscribe to the channel so that the numbers are up and it keeps us going. This is the Tiger Sport, sport being the keyword, which means that it is road biased and not off-road focused like the Tiger 900 for example. Now in Triumph's lineage, the Tiger Sport has typically been a sport tourer like the Tiger Sport 1050. These vehicles have a lot more fairing, a lot more bodywork, better aerodynamics, better high-speed stability, better high-speed wind protection, weather protection than their comparatively minimalist adventure siblings. So the Tiger Sport models have more in common with Triumph's Roadsters than the adventure bikes, and the Triumph Tiger Sport 660 follows in that tradition. During the presentation to us, Triumph repeatedly mentioned that the Tiger Sport 660 is road biased, it is not intended for the rougher terrain, for the green lanes, etc. much like the Kawasaki Versys 650 that it will contend with. To that effect, the Tiger Sport 660 rides on 17-inch wheels, shod with Michelin Pilot Road 5 tires, and they're in the same size as the Trident 660, meaning a 120 front and a 180 rear. What that translates into is that you will get a lot more options for sticky tarmac rubber compared to off-road rubber that is intended for slippery terrain. That said, the Tiger 660 will come with a first in the segment switchable traction control system, which is going to make life a little bit easier, a little bit safer with that safety net, especially when riding on trickier terrain like our road conditions or even Britain's weather conditions. You also get ride-by-wire on this motorcycle, which brings along a road and a rain riding mode. The latter, of course, dulling down a throttle response a little bit like we found out on the Trident. As far as the instrumentation goes, it is just as feature-rich as the one on the Trident. It is in fact the same layout as well, but it gets a different exterior housing to go with that sharp styling of the Tiger Sport 660. The instrumentation can also be mated to the optional Triumph connectivity module, which gives you Bluetooth connection for controlling your phone, the helmet communication device, or even a GoPro action camera. The other segment first is of course the unique triple-cylinder engine, which promises the enthusiasm levels of a street triple and an enigmatic soundtrack which its rivals are not likely to match. The 660 triple comes from the Trident, of course, and continues to put out 81 PS or 64 Newton meters of torque. It comes at the same RPM range as well. Even the power and torque curves are very similar to that of the Trident. So with at least 90% of that peak torque or at least 50 Newton meters available from as low as 3600 RPM, I'm guessing that the Tiger Sport 660 should be able to handle most riding scenarios effortlessly, even with the pillion and luggage. Triumph even assures that the motorcycle will have class-leading top-end performance. Now that is something that we will verify with a road test. Now the Tiger Sport 660 compared to the Trident has a lower power to weight ratio, and that's because the additional bodywork that you see on the fairing, the larger 17.2 liter tank, and changes to the chassis and the suspension essentially make the new Tiger Sport 660 about 17 kilos heavier than the Trident. But Triumph assures that the Tiger Sport 660 still managed to get marginally better fuel economy. So a 350 kilometer range should not be a problem, is what they say. The Tiger Sport 660 uses the same main frame as the Trident, but the subframe is different to accommodate a wider seat and of course a 3-piece luggage system for luggage as well as the pillion for long hours. Now to that effect, Triumph has also introduced a 3-piece color-coded polycarbonate pannier system, which is a part of the accessories catalog. The catalog by itself has over 40 unique accessories for the Tiger Sport 660. Like I said, the revised subframe also houses a wider seat, but the seat height for the rider is now up to 835 millimeters over the 805 millimeters of the Trident. You can have the low seat option, which is about 810, but that is still a little bit taller than the Trident. In fact, that 810 to 835 zone or that range puts it in the same saddle height as the Tiger 850 Sport. So if you have been shying away from the Tiger 850 Sport purely for the weight and the saddle height, well, unfortunately, the Tiger Sport 660 is not going to change that by much. It's still a 216 kilo motorcycle, that's wet weight, and it has that high seat height as well. There's a marginal change to the rake angle of the chassis, 23.1 degrees on the Tiger Sport versus 23.9 degrees on the Trident, but it sits on a slightly longer, 11 millimeters longer wheelbase compared to the Trident. The chassis is suspended by 41 millimeter upside down forks up front and a rear monoshock, both coming from Showa, but this suspension setup has a 150 millimeter travel front and rear. So while it's not really designed to go off the road like the Tiger 850 or the Tiger 900, the Tiger Sport 660 will still be better equipped than the Trident at tackling bad roads, potholes, etc. To that effect, it also gets a 12 millimeter higher ground clearance than the Trident at 162 millimeters. As far as the braking hardware goes, the Nissin brakes from the Trident are carried over to the Tiger Sport 660 as well. The Triumph Tiger Sport 660 has a very different design theme compared to everything that we've seen in the Triumph portfolio so far. Yes, the design has a few hints of Yamaha and Aprilia in it, but I think it looks quite smart and much better than anything that we've seen from Triumph that wears the words Tiger and Sport in one line. The Tiger Sport 660 has 3 color options for you to choose from, all 3 coming from the same palette as the Tiger 850 Sport. So you have a blue, a signature red, and a grey. While the radiator shrouds are typical Tiger, the front end design is a lot sharper than anything that we've seen from Triumph so far. Sharper than even the Daytona 675. The tall windscreen looks a bit much, especially at its highest setting. The side profile shows off the tall tank and establishes that this is indeed a tallish motorcycle. The tail has hints of the Trident's design to it and comes with dedicated recesses for Triumph's pannier system, which when added, completes the look. How it interfaces with the compulsory sari guard on the India spec model, that remains to be seen. So how much is it going to be and when do we ride it? Well, my estimate looking at the UK pricing of the Tiger Sport 660 is that you're looking at a price tag of between 8.25 to 8.5 lakh rupees ex showroom. Now also note that the Trident 660's price is going to go up very soon, maybe after the festive season. I'm guessing a hike of about 40 to 50,000 rupees, and then like I said, the Tiger Sport 660 could come at anywhere between 8.25 to 8.5. That pricing will still help it undercut its primary rival, which is the Kawasaki Versys 650, which currently resides at a little under 9 lakh rupees ex showroom. What is also going to help the cause of the Tiger Sport 660 is Triumph's assurance of the least ownership cost in this particular segment. They're also talking about the least labor cost, the least man hours required to service the vehicle. So all of that certainly sounds promising. And like the Trident's chronology, I'm expecting the Tiger Sport 660 to come in the first quarter of 2022, now that it has made its first appearance just before the festive season, the way the Trident did it last year. My estimate is late January 2022 to early February 2022. Now, I know there's going to be a very common question, what about the off-road variant, or why can't this one go off-road? That's because there is a Tiger 660 that's coming without the word sport in it. That is going to be the more off-road focused variant, and that is going to be quite unique because as of now, Kawasaki doesn't have that off-road variant from the 650 category doing anything in the Indian market. The only competition for the Tiger 660, of course, will be the Suzuki V-Strom 650, which is, well, at a much higher price point. So that motorcycle is something that we are expecting to see sometime next year. I think it will again follow the same chronology of the Trident and the Tiger Sport. Maybe this time next year they will reveal the Tiger 660, and sometime in 2023 is when it will be launched. But that is, well, I'll not say speculation because we've already seen the leaked photos from the dealer presentation, and that confirms that there will be a Tiger 660, the adventure variant or the off-road variant. So more on that once we have more information, but it is going to use the same engine. It will definitely have a different chassis, higher ground clearance, even longer suspension travel, maybe 180 millimeters of suspension travel, but all that is speculation as of now. So we'll talk about it as and when it arrives. Like I said, do let me know what are your thoughts about the Tiger Sport 660. What were your expectations? Did it live up to all those expectations? Were you expecting something more? Do let me know about all of that in the comments below, and I'll join the discussion and we can take it forward from there. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to it already. Do hit that like button if you deem fit, and please consider sharing this video with all your other biker buddies. Thank you so much for watching.